Unacademy. Let's crack it.
Hello, good evening. Today we have with us Lieutenant General Shokin Chauhan. Shokin Chauhan was appointed the chairman of the Ceasefire Mountaineering Group in August 2018. Post retirement from the army in March 2018, earlier the general was Director General of Assam Rifles, India's oldest and largest paramilitary force. On completion of his 2 years tenure as chairman, the general is now settled in Pune. General is an outstanding scholar with proven track record. He was awarded a PhD from Punjab University, Chandigarh for his thesis, India-Nepal Strategy Relation in 21st Century, which was highly appreciated by the university. He was appointed a visiting fellow of the Center for Land Warfare Study in July 2021. He has vast experience at apex level, having served in both Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Home in field of defense, counter insurgency, counter terrorism and border guarding and human resource management. He also has a vast experience in military diplomacy since he was Defense Indian Embassy in Nepal for 3.5 years in 2004 to 2007. In addition, he was a vast experience in peacekeeping operation, perspective planning and capability building at the apex level. The general represent India as well as led a large number of Indian military delegation to various international military forums like the United States Pacific Command. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
It's an honor to have you, sir, today with us.
Thank you.
Sir, to start with, I want to know, sir, what is defense? What are its function? And what are the ranks and roles for the understanding of new aspirants who don't know anything about defense?
Oh, okay. What is defense is a very vast subject. It's actually the defense of India, involves the defense of India's borders. It involves the defense of India's internal. It involves India's assets like the oil and the Indian Ocean, and all other issues to deal with India's economy. It also involves dealing with India's enemies, whether they are internal or external. So the defense of India is a very, very vast subject, and it involves a lot of people and a lot of systems. The armed forces are chartered to defend India's borders, whether they are land borders or the air borders or the sea, the India's navigable sea area. So this is what the armed forces are chartered to do. The defense of India's borders. So there's a difference between defending India's borders and defending India's assets, economic assets, and other issues like that. Okay, and you want to know the ranks. So let me just sort of come to first the Indian Army, the officer level ranks. Is that right, or would you like to know the men's ranks also?
No, sir, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay. We start with the fact that the Indian Army officer is first goes through what we call the UPSC exam. It's a written exam. If you go after school, it's a UPSC exam for the National Defense Academy or the Navy or the Naval Academy. That is after the 12th standard, right? If you pass the exam, there are about say 5 to 6 lakh children who appear, maybe more, maybe 10 lakh. And once you pass the exam, the written exam, then you are called based on your merit for the Services Selection Board. The Services Selection Board has a 5-day plan. The first day is, are the initial tests. It's a screening out test where you go through various tests in the first day. And if you are not found fit at the first day itself, then you are screened out and asked to leave the place. And the balance of the children then go through the next 3 to 4 days. Okay. And if you after that pass the services selection board, where ordinarily uh, less than 10% pass, you are then asked to appear for the medical test. And if during that medical you are found fit to undergo the training at the National Defense Academy or the Indian Military Academy, then a merit list is made. And based on that merit list, you are asked to join the National Defense Academy or the Naval Academy. The Air Force doesn't have a direct commission academy after school. So this training is for 3 years at the National Defense Academy and 1 year at the Indian Military Academy. So if you go through the National Defense Academy, you have a 4-year training period in which you also study for your bachelor's degree, and then you get commissioned as a lieutenant in the army. So I was a NDA cadet. I joined the National Defense Academy on the 7th of January 1976. That was a long time ago, right? And then finally, after 4 years of training, successful training, I was commissioned into the Indian Army in 1979, December, as a second lieutenant. But now the second lieutenant's rank has been removed. So there's only the lieutenant's rank. From lieutenant, you have to do 2 years to become a captain, an acting captain. Otherwise, the captains, to be a captain, it takes 5 years. Right? But an acting captain in field areas or operational areas, you can become in 3 years. And subsequently, from a captain, the next rank is a major's rank. And after a major's rank is the lieutenant colonel's rank. Now, till the rank of a lieutenant colonel, there are no selection boards. But from the rank of lieutenant colonel to colonel to the next rank is brigadier, brigadier to major general to lieutenant general, and lieutenant general to general. There are selection boards, where once again, ordinarily, 30% or less, depending upon the vacancies, are selected for the next rank. So that's the rank in the army.
Sir, what are its function? Like, as we have different function in corporate, or we have different
Pardon me?
function in. Sir, we have different functions in corporate also, and we have different division and scope of subject in our graduation also. Like some people take marketing, some go for finance and all. So what are the options when you clear UPSC examination, when you clear CDS examination and FCAT examinations?
Okay. At the CDS level, of course, if you are taking the UPSC exam, then you have to opt for the subjects.
All right.
Whether you're opting for, no, in the CDS, there are no options. You have to appear for all the subjects.
All
Once you get to the NDA,
right.
then you opt for the science stream or the non-science stream.
All right.
So if you're opting for the non-science stream, then you're automatically not considered for the technical arms. In the Indian Army, the technical arms are the engineers, the signals, the EME, that is the electrical and mechanical engineers, different from the engineers, right? And the rest of the arms, you can a non-technical cadet can also join, like the infantry, the armored corps, the artillery, the air defense, the Army Service Corps, the Army Ordnance Corps. So these are the corps that you can join being a non-science graduate. But if you're a science graduate and you want to join the technical arms, then you can opt for the engineers, the EME, the electrical and mechanical engineers, and these two, and the signals. So signals obviously are the ones who establish the lines of communication. The engineers are the combat engineers, and the EME is the ones who look after the logistics of our equipment and ensure that they are in battle-worthy conditions. The balance of us, so we go to what is known as the non-technical arms. I joined the infantry, the Gurkha Rifles. So I was a non-technical cadet from the NDA, and I joined the Gurkha Rifles. But you can join the infantry, you can join the armored corps, you can join the artillery, you can join the air defense, so being a non-technical defense, or the services that are the ASC, Army Service Corps, the Army Ordnance Corps, or the yeah. So these are the services that you can join.
So if someone is planning to go join defense after 10th or after 12th, so what are the options for the defense aspirant that they can opt for?
After 10th, there is no option. The
No.
National Defense Academy does not take you after 10th. The minimum level is high school, that is 12th standard. So after the 12th standard and you pass in this exam, once you reach the NDA, you have a examination on within the first week itself. So you can opt for non-science or science in NDA itself. And based on what you are opting for is what you then get finally when you become an officer in the army.
All right, sir. And after graduation?
So after graduation is the same thing. If you are, say, an engineering graduate, then you appear for the UPSC exam and you join the Indian Military Academy or the Officers Training Academy. Once you join either one of these places, then you can opt for the engineering aspects or the technical arm of the Indian Army. The engineer, the signals, and the EM.
All right, sir.
It seems to have frozen again.
No, not to worry, sir. What we can do is, sir, we will. Sir, I want to know about your journey, like how you started. What are the examination that you have prepared for?
So I'm talking of what 1976, 1974 December. I passed out from the after my ISC. So we're talking of the time when 12th was not an exam, right? School leaving certificate that I did was from the 11th standard from St. Columbus High School in Delhi. So I appeared for the UPSC in May 1975 because our results only come out by May. Though we appear for the examination in December, our results only come out by May. So I appeared for the UPSC exam in May, passed it, and joined the NDA in January 1976. So though I was a science student in school, I was very keen to join the combat arms, to be in the forefront of fighting. So when I joined the NDA and they asked me whether I wanted to be a science student or a non-science student, I was very clear that I would be a non-science student because I wanted to join the infantry and the Gurkha Rifles. So this was my dream from the beginning of when I was very young, and it's exactly what I did.
So what was your inspiration and motivation to join this?
See, Shraddha, part of it is I have a family history. Right? I am the third direct generation in the armed forces. My grandfather was a First World War hero. He was awarded, he was awarded 2 medals during the First World War. And my father joined the Indian Army at the age of 19 as a young officer in 1946 and was from the Gurkha Rifles. So it was actually growing up, I grew up within the army and I was very keen to join the army from the beginning. I was very, very keen. So when the option came to join college, I was in college for 6 months. I was doing chemistry honors in the Delhi University. But I was very clear that I wanted to go to the Indian Army and join the National Defense Academy. So I appeared for the exam and I passed the exam. And I was lucky to be to be commissioned in the Indian Army. and later on get the Gorkha Rifles, which was my dream from the beginning. So that was my motivation. I've, joining the Gorkha Rifles is a different, it's a wonderful experience because these boys were someone I had lived with all my life.
Mhm.
I speak their language. I've been to their homes. So in every way, it's been a very enriching experience for me. And I completed 39 years of commission service before finally retiring in um, in 2018.
Alright.
Yes. So that was my motivation. That someone who always wanted to do a particular thing and did it. So I didn't really look at anything else. I never tried for any other option. Um, Always very keen on this particular, and never left the army. Always continued. Never wanted to leave. Always worked hard. Always was in the forefront of all of India's borders, protecting India's borders. And I've had a very enriching experience and very enriching career. And I'm very, very grateful to everybody, especially the men I commanded in battle. They're very excellent.
So that's really amazing to hear. So I also want to know, sir, what is the most proud moment of your life?
Actually, Shweta, in our kind of career,
Hmm. Every day is proud.
every day is a difficult day. I must tell you
Hmm.
that in
Hmm.
when India was planning to take over the Siachen Glacier
Hmm.
in 1984,
Hmm.
I was one of the first officers selected to capture the glacier.
Hmm.
I was a very young 24-year-old. It was 1984.
Hmm.
26-year-old. I'm born 1958. I was a ski trooper. I had done my ski course,
Hmm.
and we were in May, June of 1984. We were sent up to capture and to keep and to hold the Siachen Glacier, which today everyone knows, but in 1984,
Hmm.
no one knew.
Hmm.
So one of the greatest moments of my career as a young officer was to have commanded troops there and have fought Pakistan in on the glacier. Subsequently, commanding men is an everyday issue of pride and acceptability.
Hmm.
The men you command demand your leadership.
Hmm.
You have to be a leader every 24 hours a day.
Hmm.
There is no place at which you switch off and say, I am not resting. Because to us, threat is 24 hours of the day. I have fought in the jungles of Kashmir. I have fought on the mountains of Kargil. I have fought in the jungles of Nagaland and Manipur. Uh, I have represented my country as a defense advisor in Nepal, in the Indian Embassy. I have represented my country in a large number of international delegations. Every day is proud. I have been decorated by my decorations. I have been decorated by the government of India, by the President of India, 5 times. And have received the award from him at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, which also are very proud moments.
So I'm really getting goosebumps at the moment.
I can only say that it's been a wonderful, enriching period. And I
Hmm.
feel very proud every day that I stand up and I, get up and talk to my men who are still in touch with me in Nepal.
Hmm.
So I have loved every day of my career. And, to me, every day is great.
Okay. So some incidents, some moments that you want to share with us.
See, Shweta, what's important is that at every point of my career, I learnt some issues or the other. I, I was a very young officer when I was inducted onto the glacier. I was a very young officer.
Hmm.
I had just 4.5 years of service. But having led my men on the glacier, which was at 20,000 feet, 20,000 feet,
Hmm.
uh, without, and I was leading men who were Everest mountaineers who had summited the Everest. But I was very proud of the fact that I was leading them, and I was very happy that they found my leadership enriching, and that we were able to hold the glacier against Pakistan, which during '84, which was the most difficult time. Subsequently, like I said, I have commanded my unit. I have been on the mountains of Kargil. That itself was a very proud moment. I have led my unit in lots of operations. I led my unit in Ops Sahayata during the, we gave support to the government of Orissa during the super cyclone in 1999. I was the commanding officer there. I have led them in Kashmir. I have led them in everywhere. So I am extremely happy and proud of the fact that every moment of mine has been enriched by my soldiers who have willingly sacrificed and died for me. And I remember their sacrifice. I remember their deaths, and so it's a difficult life. And it's not a life you should join if you're not willing to sacrifice yourself.
That's deep. So, like for all the young aspirants who are preparing for the examinations, what are the skill set that they should acquire?
They should be very clear and very careful, Shweta, on two issues.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One, the issue is of being clear what they want out of life.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is many of them come into thinking that they're going to earn money.
Mm-hmm.
There is no earning of money in the armed forces. It's a career of sacrifice. It's a career of service. You have the politicians who say they're serving the country, but they are not called upon to give the sacrifice that we are called upon. You have bureaucrats who think they're serving the country. So if you are not, if you feel that you are going to earn money in the armed forces, you're not going to earn. That's the first issue. But if you're prepared for a life of sacrifice, for a life of protecting a nation, of a life of honor, of a life of of standing straight, and then this is the right life. But most important is that you are actually leading men. You're not managing men. Like in the corporate life, you're managing men. You hire people. You say, you do this, and you go off. You switch off. But here you lead men, and the best times of my life has when I've been with the men and I've led them through difficult situations. Those are the best periods that I now look back after a career of 40 plus years, and I feel that those were the best times.
Sir, why youngsters should join defense?
It's like I said, all youngsters are different. They have different requirements. You might have a different requirement yourself. You might be your frame might be looking for your parents might be looking for a life of security. For you might be looking for a life of ambition, of money. This is a different life.
Mhm.
It's a complete life. It's absolutely different. It's this kind of life calls for a different kind of sacrifice to yourself.
Mhm.
And it's the only career which asks for your life if required. So that's why you find that every day of the year there has been some sacrifice by some soldier or the other. And I remember one soldier telling me many years ago when I was commanding them in Kashmir, and he said, "Saab, your job is to be the best, because if you're not the best, then we will lose our lives." He says, "Our job is to follow you in battle, but your job is to be the best. So you are not to look backwards. You're just to look forward, and you're to lead us into battle and to get us out safely and to win that battle for us. That's your job." So when the soldier told me that, all my personal doubts, disappeared. Here was a young soldier telling his commanding officer that, look, I expect the best from you. And I expect to be safe. I expect to be brought back safely. But more than anything else, I expect victory in battle. I expect that my country will be secure. So these are the expectations that the soldiers have from you when they follow you, that my leader is good. So that leader has to prove himself every day of his career in the army.
It's really so wonderful, like because all the people will follow the leaders.
And there is also the value of self-worth.
Mhm.
When you carry yourself off, once you retire and you leave the army,
Mhm.
there is a self-worth. There is a feeling that I have achieved this level. I must not now do these things which would not be what I think I should be. If you understand, that's why 99% of the officers of the Indian Army fade away slowly, because they have lived a life of honor and they want to continue living that life. That's the issue about the army and belonging to an army institution like the Indian Army. That it has given your life of honor, and how you spend it now is your business.
Mhm. So you want to share some stories or moments like that inspired you basically while working or while serving the country?
Let me tell you, every day, Shraddha, of our lives is an inspiration.
Mhm.
Because the
Sir,
men,
if you can share some moment with us, like some story where you were like on fighting and all.
yeah, see, I was explaining that to you in the last episode.
Mhm.
That there was a particular time. It was the 10th of December,
Mhm.
uh, ni- uh, 19, 1999. No, 2000.
Mhm.
We were fighting in the jungles of Kashmir, the mountains of Kashmir,
Mhm.
fighting at 14 and a half, 15,000 feet. And we were actually chasing a group of Pakistani terrorists who had come inside our country. So during this particular chase, I lost two soldiers of mine. They were killed in battle, and I was not able to pick up their bodies for about 24 hours because there was firing going along.
Mhm.
And I was extremely, upset about that, and I was wondering whether I'm doing this right or not. And uh, we our ration was finishing. We didn't have ration for more than 4 days, and this was the third day of this particular time. But the choice was between going backwards or staying on and saying, well, I had 400 plus men with me who had surrounded those areas, but I had to reach the rations to them. I had to keep them to continue fighting. We had lost men, so our morale was down.
Mhm.
And I called the men, some of them, most of them around, and I said, look, this is the predicament, and I will now expect from you that we continue staying here.
Mhm.
Even though we will be on half rations, we will not have the rations to eat. I have asked the rations to come up, but I am not going to allow these terrorists to get away because they've killed my men.
Mhm.
And I am sorry for what has happened because this was the situation. But whatever it is, more of you might lose your lives. Uh, but what I loved was all 100% of them said, Saab, we will stay on and we will kill these people. And food doesn't matter. What matters is the final victory. That the sacrifice of, Haldar Him Bahadur and Nagshuddar Kamal is not lost. Subsequently, in the day, I lost one more soldier. Uh, but we continued with the task, and by the third day, we had killed all seven of them. And it, that's when you sit down with your men and you say that we've gone through these difficult times. The men tell you, Saab, don't worry, we are with you. we will follow you till death. And till death it must be. And for us to follow you, you must be the best. So to me, the greatest story that the once told to me by my men, that we will follow you. We will follow you because we trust you. And that's the issue about every officer when he's leading people, is that his men tell him in the most difficult time that we are willing to follow you. You know, that's the point from which I understood how important it was for me to be a leader, and how important it was for me to work hard, how important it was for me to be absolutely the best leader possible, because only the best succeed here. If you hesitate, you may be very good academically, but you're not the best otherwise. Because you have to have what you call tan man dhan. Every aspect of your life has to be such that the men know and follow you willingly to death. So this is something that's been very, very important, and I've held that very, very dearly to my heart.
Thank you, sir, for sharing that. That's really wonderful. So going ahead, I want to know, sir, about more about like what youngsters should keep in mind if they're going for army. As you said, this is not a field where you'll earn a lot of money, but over here you'll earn a lot of respect, right?
And you have respect for your entire life.
Right, sir.
When you die, and every human being has to die, there
Mhm.
will be people who will remember you. There will be people who will salute to you. I think that is the best way possible.
All right.
I
So
don't think
what
there
will
can
be
be
your
any other
Mhm.
career where you get the kind of respect that we get.
Mhm. So what will be your last message and suggestions for all the people who are preparing for defense examinations?
My message would be, if you've decided that this is your career,
Mhm.
then work hard.
Mhm.
Uh, Study hard, because studies are important to pass the initial exam. That's the first issue.
Mhm.
Keep yourself physically fit and medically fit, because without that you can't join.
Mhm.
You may be very good academically, you may be good at the services selection board, but if your body can't cope, then you will not be able to cope in the NDA.
Mhm.
Once you join the army, it is your personal responsibility to ensure that you personally remain fit all your life.
Mhm.
You personally continue to excel,
Mhm.
not just for your career progression, but for your men's safety, for leading your men. They expect from you that their leader will be the best. So if you have decided for a career like this, then you must work continuously and work very, very hard for it. If you feel that at some point of your life you're going to relax and sit down and put your feet up, this is not a career for that. So that would be my personal advice to all people appearing for this exam, that whatever you do, work with singular purpose and singular hard work.
All
And
right. So thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. And thank you for all the inspirational story that you shared with us. It was really good to have you, sir, today with us.
thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir.